Hey friends, we are at the last day of this round of evening encouragements. I know it's been kind of a short stretch compared to what we've done in the past. We'll only be gone for a couple of weeks. We'll pick it up again as we get into December. A few weeks leading up to Christmas, we'll spend some time together again. But thank you for letting me spend this time with you leading up to Thanksgiving. Wonderful holiday. One of the tasks that people sometimes do on a Thanksgiving holiday is they take all the letters of the alphabet, A through Z, and they write down something that begins with that letter for which they are thankful. You know, like if you're thankful for art because you are artistic and you get great joy out of art, then you would write the word art. And B, if you're thankful for bats because they eat mosquitoes, like the type that fly. I don't know if many people would be thankful for bats, but that's a reason to be thankful for bats. They can eat mosquitoes. So you write bats by that. If you're a cat person, you'd write C for cats. If you're a dog person, you write D for dog. But you can do whatever you want, but you go through the task of listing something for every letter of the alphabet. It helps you bring to mind things for which you are thankful, and it's a good activity. The reason why I'm bringing that up in connection not just with Thanksgiving, but with Psalms 9 and 10, you might remember from a few days ago, I mentioned that some believe that Psalms 9 and 10 were actually one psalm written all together, but it was broken up at one place. But the reason people believe that they were all together is because Psalms 9 and 10, if you put them together, they're what is known as an acrostic. An acrostic is when, in the original Hebrew language, you start a paragraph with the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and the next paragraph starts with the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The next letter starts with the third letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So it would be like A, B, C, D, all the way to the end of the Hebrew alphabet. And that starts in Psalm 9, and it goes through Psalm 10. Just a neat literary tool that is sometimes used in writing. It's a neat emphasis. It's kind of like it's all inclusive, A to Z, with different things. Incidentally, you might be familiar with the shipping company Amazon. You might order things from Amazon from time to time. You may have noticed, you might know this already, that in the Amazon logo where it has the word Amazon written out, there's a smiley face underneath it. And that smile begins under the letter A, and it goes with an arrow to the letter Z. And that's Amazon's way of saying we have everything you need from A to Z. And that's kind of what an acrostic does when it's written in the Psalms. It's emphasizing that this is all inclusive for your life. And it's all inclusive in a particular way. Psalm 10, in particular, is asking a very important question. At the beginning of Psalm 10, in verse 1, David asks a question that I think you and I sometimes ask in life. And the question is, why does God sometimes seem so far away? Why does he seem to ignore me when I'm in trouble? David asks that question. And it's possible that as an answer to that question, he wanted to go through the exercise of reminding him of good things for which he had to thank God. Good things in his life that God had given him. Setting up an acrostic that way is a reminder that from the beginning of my life to the end, God has been there. And God even says that in his own A to Z kind of way. There's a title that the Bible gives to God. It's called the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. The Alpha is the first letter of the Greek alphabet, and Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. And it's God's way of saying that God, through Christ, will be there for you from the beginning of your life to the very end. And of course, we know that to be true. The book of John starts out, in the beginning was the Word. Jesus was there in the very beginning, before our lives ever existed. But he was thinking about you. Scripture says that too. He'd already dreamed you up and planned how you would be. He was thinking about you before you were thinking about you, way in the beginning. And then all throughout the course of your life, even when he knit you together in your mother's womb, very intentionally, very purposefully, very lovingly, very uniquely. He did that, and he's been with you all the way. And then remember the last promise that Jesus gave his disciples before he ascended back into heaven. He said, surely I am with you. What's the next phrase? To the very end. To the very end. Jesus was promising to be with us to the very end. And when does the end end? Well, that's a wonderful gift that God gives us. It never really does. Just one day our time on earth will end. And our eternity in perfection with Jesus and with one another and with all believers throughout all time, well, that will begin. And then our joy and our peace and our contentment, it will never end. All because of the God who is everything you need, from beginning to end. Rest well tonight, my friends.